Hi, folks. I hope you didn't go away. You know what? Tonight is going to be really good because I'm having a lot of technical difficulties. Hi, Lady Webb. How are you? Let me bring my guest in on here and give her a moment to come in. I've got Rhonda Saxton of Urban City Radio Station, a woman here in the city of Cleveland who is doing great things. You know, I've been so excited about this. Hi, Rhonda. Let me get you in. I've been so excited about this. I'm having all these technical difficulties because
Okay.
this is
Hi.
hi. Okay,
Awesome.
we have got people on here. First of all, thank you so much, Darlene, for being here. I was just telling the audience, I said, I have been so stoked and so excited about this interview with you, this major power player in the city of Cleveland. Hi, Ava, who is doing tremendous things. Ladies and gentlemen who come on, I am so honored to bring this woman to you. Now let me tell you, now you may or may not know her. I am introducing to some and presenting to others, Rhonda Saxton-Sheron, also
DJ
known
Squirt.
as DJ, huh?
DJ Squirt, baby.
Also known as, I was getting there, also known as DJ Squirt. And we're going to give you the history of that name because this young lady, this young woman that she is, has such a phenomenal story. And I'm so grateful and so honored to have met her. Hi, Ava. Hi, Eva. To have met her. And I, you know, you meet a lot of people in your life. In the course of your life, you pass by people. Some people are wonderful. Some people are nice. Some people become your acquaintances. Some people you just do business with. You may not even like them, but you just in the take care of business. Pass by people. Some people are wonderful.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, you just do that. But then there are some people that you have an immediate connection with. And Rhonda DJ Squirt was one of those people. I met her and everything about her just exudes love and honesty and hustle. And, you know, just a woman about her business. And some people, when they do business, they feel like they got to
Hi, Ava. I'm sorry. I know Ava. Hi, Ava.
People, you know, that's my sister.
Yeah. Ava, we used to work together. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, Chanel. So, you know, there are some people that when they do business, they feel like they have to step on a whole lot of other people. But this woman is doing so much. I'm going to let her tell her story, but I just want, this is my show. So I want to talk a little bit right now about her.
Do your thing. This is your show.
I want to fan the flames on her a little bit because she is always one that's fanning the flames for other people. That's what she does in her work. This woman is a Black woman in the city of Cleveland that is killing the game in the radio business. And there are very few women that we know, especially women of color, that have their own radio stations. You know, Radio One, she started off, and her story is tremendous, where she slept in her car and all kinds of stuff.
I'm close.
People, and it's like people who are made are first broken. You know, those people who get to the high lights of life, like everybody's celebrating Tiffany Haddish right now after Girls Trip. But, you know, she shared that she had been on this journey 20 years, sleeping in her car until Kevin Hart invited her to do a show. You know, so it's like people who've got that hustle and that drive to work through it. But this woman, and I know some of her story, but she's going to tell some of it too, what she chooses to tell and share. She's building up people in the city. She is building up young people. And y'all, the story, I mean, this woman that you're going to meet, I want you to write her name down. I want you to go and visit all of her. She's on all of the social media. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram. She's on Snapchat. She's on, give it to me, baby. What are you on?
Facebook, LinkedIn, Tumblr, my website, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I am DJ Squirt. All of them are I am DJ Squirt. LinkedIn, I am under my name, Rhonda Saxton-Sheron, and my website is ucrsglobal.com or urbancityradiostation.com.
So you can, hey Tina, Tina's saying hi. So it's like,
hey Tina,
put her name in. Put her name in. And she is going to come up so that you can really get the real story on this woman. And I'm telling you, her story, what did we meet? A little bit more than a year ago, maybe?
Yeah, for an interview.
For an interview, right, for an interview. And we just hit it off. And also, we're going to talk about some things so that, you know, there's a lot of times people are doing things. I want to plant this in your heart and in your mind right now. That you can always support what she's doing because she's working with youth and all of that. So you can always cash app to Urban City radio station as well, Rhonda and Sheron Saxton-Sheron. You can also cash app. You know, if you want to send 5, 25.
UCRS, cash sign UCRS.
Cash sign, the number sign, you all know about Cash App, and then UCRS, because she is helping young people in the city. She's teaching them about radio, rapping, the art, the industry. She is pouring out of her own resources. That's how passionate she is about it. So if it touches your heart, go ahead and do that. You can do it right now. It doesn't matter any increment. If you send $5 a month, listen,
$1
a month, everything will help. So, but we're looking for the big money because what we're going to ask you to do is that $25 to $30 that you spend on lunch at McDonald's eating that crap, just give that up for a week and go ahead and bless the young people through her.
Please, they need it.
So, Rhonda, DJ Squirt. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
I'm so very, very happy to have you here. So I gave like a brief overview, but something that you do that I love on your interviews, you always ask people to talk a little bit about their beginning. You always ask people to talk about what brought them to where they are today, because whether a person is good or bad or however they live or however they believe, it's whatever they've experienced. And I know that the things that you've gone through is what is feeding and fueling your passion. So would you mind just sharing with us just a little bit about your journey, whatever you'd like to share?
Well, I am born and bred from Cleveland, Ohio. An abandoned child. At 5 years old, I grew up in a group home from 5 to 12 and in foster homes. My refuge was education. School was my refuge. So that kind of saved me, and music. So not having that foundation initially as a child, parenting, how to live, whatever, music and education took me to where I needed to be. But I found that you have to go back and fill in that hole of your soul. You have to know where you are, where you're from, and understand where you're going. So this is where that come from. My own counseling, my own refuge, my own help with education that took me out of where I started, that gave me the drive to learn who I am and keep going. So I'm turning around to put that back.
Wow. That is such a powerful beginning. You know, how so you went back to school, and what high school did you go to here?
Well, the group homes, I don't know, but high school I went to Twinsburg, Ohio, Chamberlain High,
Okay.
Chamberlain.
Okay.
And then being switched from a foster home, I ended up at John Adams High School.
Okay, John Adams.
That was the True Life Bring It On movie, for real.
Yeah. That's when you earned your stripes.
Yes.
You learned about
John Adams. I think I learned more about me and John Adams, and the education in Twinsburg kind of gave me that society type building. So both of them together kind of got me together.
Okay. The wonder years, the formative years.
Yes.
Okay. So you've had the radio station now how long?
Well, I initially started it 3 years ago, but I researched and I built it first. But I went live in 2016.
2016. Now, what were you doing before? Let's talk about that youth a little bit, because you talked about, the time in the group home and how music was part of what saved your life. What part of music? What were you doing? What type of music? How did we come into DJ Squirt?
Yeah, well, it was first MC Squirt. I was MC Squirt first. Being in the group home, in the environment in which, you have no support, you have no mother. I had no foundation. I watched TV, I watched videos, I listened to music. I just was kind of pushed through, like, get behind them and go. Like I just was pushed through. So I had nothing in here. So I focused and I attached myself to music. I loved LL Cool J.
Who didn't?
I
Who
loved
didn't?
MC Hammer. You know what I mean? And I wanted to put them together. Like I was just creative, I believe, you know. So my goal in not really paying attention to how I was being raised, not knowing it was bad, I gravitated to, oh, trust me, I used to dance. I used to get down. I had a crew, everything. Okay.
No, tell it.
I wanted to be like LL, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to rap and use those words because I used to read a lot. When I did get to junior high, like they taught you Toastmasters in the 5th grade. Like I learned so much. Like since I didn't have anything fueling my brain around me when I got to school, I just soaked it all in, you know. So I soaked it all in and I told myself, ooh, I want to rap. I want to do that. I love it. That would take me away from whatever was really going on. Mm-hmm. So when I did come to John Adams had rec. I had never heard of a party on your lunch break, on your lunch hour. Like I never heard of that. So I began to mingle, you know, hang out, but I did talent shows. I just kind of got involved that way. And I made my stage presence look like I thought in my head. So.
Okay. All right. Wow, that's awesome. So I do know, and I have heard it, you still have music out there. Yeah, and actually, I had brought up pictures. I had pictures of you. Back
yes.
Your days in your days.
Well,
of DJing and all of that. You still look the same. You still.
Everybody say that.
Different hairdo, but you still, that face is still right there. You still look exactly the same.
I'm a little preserved.
Okay, so you come out of so you're doing that, and so how long did you do that? Because from what I understand, you were working with some groups that were getting notoriety. I mean, you, as I said, you still have music out there on the web and actually still playing overseas.
Yes, but you know what? That's another reason why I'm doing the education here and doing the radio, because I didn't know anything about it. Like I'm not making any money off of that, so but I didn't know. When I came to Cleveland to John Adams at 15, 16, I'd already been doing talent shows and singing and, you know, having fun. I ended up meeting Johnny O and his Whistle Crew. So I was at the Shaw High School talent show.
Shaw High
buddies. Shaw, yeah. Our concert choir in Twinsburg started to do contests with, like, you know, all of the city schools. And so we ended up with Warrensville High School.
Okay.
And I started getting into Warrensville High School talent shows, winning, and then from Warrensville, the other kids would go, "Girl, you need to go to Shaw." Like, oh, I went to Shaw. Oh, you need to go to Myth Ross. Like every talent show that somebody told me, I went. So I ended up recording a tape at Johnny O's Sorcerer Crew's studio in their house, and I think it was Ashburton or Ash. I might have the street wrong. Ashbury, something like that, over in East Cleveland. Yeah. And I'm from Twinsburg, which is like 45 minutes away or to an hour. And we would drive, you know, we were in the suburbs. Like our friends' mothers gave them their new cars. So we'd be like, let's go. I had nobody licensed. I was driving from Twinsburg to Cleveland in the hood, didn't know where I was at, but I wanted to record the song. I was always dedicated. So we recorded, and I met Casper C. and Johnny O. and James Boston, who actually did the first compilation album out of Cleveland. Wow. But because of my education, when they had the requirements, I worked all the time. They said, oh, you need $500 to get on this. You got to take pictures, you need to perform, and you need to get on this album. I was like, okay, boop, here. Did it, and I was on the album. I traveled, made money. It was awesome. 16 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
That is awesome. So, you know, you talk about, and I want to, so since we're talking about the kids, let's talk about that. I want to get back to the kids, but I want to talk about your radio station, about, you know, because I know before you started doing that, you were doing a regular 9 to 5, correct?
Yes. Yes. Okay. I've been working since I was 13. So I've always been working. Corporate America, 26 years. It's been a long haul here, a long learning process, a lot of things. And we need to be there for our kids. We need to be there and show them at a young age they can do whatever they want to, not when they're 30. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, still, even at these successes at that age and moving on and having a kid of my own, I still didn't have that nourishment, that health, that structure from birth to 15 years old. I had none of that. Nobody said you're cute. Everybody said I was ugly. They called me names, like, but I ignored it. I just didn't know it was wrong, you know? So the reason why I brought the station on was to be able to have some type of resource or platform for any other child. If I experienced that in the 70s, the abandonment, I'm sure by now there's many, 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 many others. Yeah. So I wanted to be able to have the type of platform and resource available to be able to connect with people all over the world, to know there's more out here than just what's right here on your block. You know, everybody doesn't talk like that. Everybody doesn't eat that. Everybody, you know, I wanted to make a platform where people can learn from it. And because music is my thing, I figured that would be awesome.
And it is awesome. It is awesome. And
Thank you.
Platform reaches. I was in the station with you one night, and you were looking at something, and you were like, "Oh, I'm getting people from Africa or Europe or Australia."
Yeah. Yes.
So you're global. Where are some of the places that your platform is reaching?
Some of those names, girl, I don't know, but I know the countries.
Right.
Africa, Guyana, Australia. Germany is my number one. What's up, Germany? I love Germany. They are always on there, and they communicate with me. They start following me on social media. They talk to me. Of course, I have to Google and translate what they said, but it's possible. Paris, London, China. I've got music from China because a guy recognized me from the hip hop album off of YouTube. What? China.
So Japan. It's paying off now. It's paying off.
Yeah. Well, in this form, I ain't no cash.
But as far as recognition, you know how one thing.
Oh yes. Yeah. He messaged me and said, "Is this you?"
Wow.
Yeah. So, yes, it's beneficial now that I see it. It's not even about the money anymore. I just want to show people that, I did this. You know, you can too. But let me help you show a better way to take control of it yourself. Let me show you a little bit more than just standing on the stage and looking cute. Let me show you what it's about. When you build this platform, like I got 25 years of corporate America. I lost everything at one point to my father said, look, you're smart. You got 20 years of corporate America. Use those skills and make something that you love and put it together where nobody can fire you.
Wow.
So that's what I do.
Wow. And you know, that is so important what you're saying, having your own. And it takes so much courage to do that, because we're all brought up. Everybody on here that I can see now grew up in the day and the time when our parents said, you go to school, you get your degree, get that job, and you work it 30 years so you can retire and get whatever you're going to get. And then that's pretty much it. You know, back in those days, there were very few people, especially in our culture, that were saying, get your own. Saying, follow your dream, saying, what is it that you really love to do? Wow, she is really good at tumbling. Maybe she's a gymnast. Wow, she's really good. You know, he's really good at art. Maybe I got this. But I've heard people say, I did this and I was great at it, but my parents told me that's not going to make you no money. You know, so totally forfeiting even the idea, just crushing the dreams, because money can be made and success does come eventually with hard work and consistency.
Exactly.
But for your father to say to you, listen, you're too smart for that. Nobody can, you don't allow people to treat you like that. And you can have and do what God created you to do. The gift of gab, the ability to talk. And then also that hustle in you, you know, all of what you went through growing up, you know, and they're still being able to, because a woman in business, a woman in the lane that you're in, you know, you're driving solo. So you got to have a duck's back. So all those kids who were talking about you, they just big kids now. That's why
they are.
That's why you can deal with things. But you know, when you're talking about that, so what was the moment when you said, you know, what made you say, I want a radio station? You know, because to say I want to be on the radio, or to say I'd like to get a talk show, but to say I want to build my own empire. When did that happen? When did that connect?
Wow. So initially, that's not what I was going for. I accidentally only did a radio show. I had booked a suite downtown, and got on someone else's station and was talking and educating and helping and having fun because my child said, "Mom, you getting on my nerves. I'm grown. Oh my God." I said, "Well, hell, somebody else want to hear what I got to say." So that's when I started radio. But when I got to this station, I started hearing what I could and what I couldn't do and how much it's going to cost and why. And you got to do it this way and that way. You can't use your name. That's my name. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you think it means, I'll educate you on what it means. So I said, how did they do this? You know, internet is more efficient than FM, and FM is limited, and the internet is global. Here we go. Let's do it. So that's why the first year I did research, study. So if I'm not going to pay them, I can do it where I can get paid.
Wow.
So,
wow. So
at that point that they told me I couldn't is when I said, oh yes, I can.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome, because a lot of people would just say, well, you know what, you write because I don't really know. So, you know, so were you learning as you were going along? So you were there in that station and you saw how things were being done. But when you go into your own, you know, I'm talking about equipment, you know, you've got to know how to get that global stuff, you know. So for people who think, for people who think that you've got to have everything up here already, and you got to have everything in hand before you start walking on your dream, walking towards your dream, what is your advice to that thought process?
Keep going. Just keep moving. Because when you do the right thing, when they say that you do the right things come to you. Because trust me, this has went further than I imagined. And I'm sure it's going to go further than I can imagine. You know, every day that I'm doing something, everyone that I interact with, it opens all more doors. So initially, I just wanted a radio station. So I just got the radio room with the mics and I want to interview. And then it turned into a music studio. Then it turned into a TV. Okay, wait a minute. It just keeps going. So now, that 25 years of corporate America that I did, I was an IT data analyst, support, tech, inventory control, warehouse specialist, all kind of stuff for years. And now I'm taking that and teaching them. You can use YouTube this way. You can make your own web page because I did it. I learned trial and error. So I'm going to teach what I learned to help them be able to move into music if they want to, learn about it. These are introductory courses that I'm teaching so they can get a feel for it. You know, because first I was singing. Oh, I want to be a singer. I was doing Dream Girls, singing it. And I realized I don't want to be on the stage. I want to run the stage. I want to create the stage. So they get their hands wet. Wow. And they go ahead and they run with it. And if they might decide they don't want to do this, and the other. So now I have 3 options of what is educated. And they can get their hands on and work right here in the studio.
She keeps going to those kids. I want to say that about those kids because I'm still trying to get more about you.
I'm sorry, because I see that was me. That's what
we're going to get to this wonderful project about young people. So so anybody who's just coming on, what we're talking about, I just want to recap for you. DJ Squirt, we got to talk about how you got the name too. She has only been doing this, she said, since 2016. So I hope you all put a pin in that so that you can know how quickly, and her studio is phenomenal. I remember a little over a year ago, she was saying it was just a single room. It was just a piece of paper where you were writing stuff, Urban City radio station on the board. I remember that. It was like a white paper and you had it written in a marker, and I remember saying, I've got to learn how to do flyers. You were just a little over a year ago. This is why I'm so excited to bring her to you all. I don't care what age you are. I don't care if you're on here and you're looking. Please share this, and I want to ask you right now to share this. Just hit the share button, because if there's somebody, I don't care, male, female, girl, boy, older woman, I don't care if it's somebody 70 years old.
Never too late.
Share this video right now. Hit share, and I want to ask you to also follow me. Follow Michelle Edwards Whitfield. Please follow me because I'm going to be keep bringing you this type of interview. But I want you to know what she is saying. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I said yay. I was agreeing with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so so just in a little over a year, because she put this in her mind, and you said about good things, when you're doing good things and you're being honest in your dealings, that good things come to you. Also, let me remind you all too, that part of the project that she's going to talk about in a little bit about the youth that she's doing, she's totally she's self-funding her radio station, she's self-funding, but we're also inviting you to use the Cash App application. She is Cash App, the number sign UCRS, which stands for
Yes.
City Radio Station. Feel free to please bless her. Feel free to give,
Please.
because she is going to be bringing in children. She's going to be teaching them. And before she gets into that, please tell us about how DJ Squirt, how MC Squirt, how you got that name and how you were dubbed that name.
Well, I grew up in a group home. And when I got there at 5, there were some tough kids. Like, they just put you, back then, you were there with all of them. You weren't there with just the 5-year-olds. You was there with everybody. And they would go, "You a punk. I'm going to beat you up till you fight me back." And they would call me Little Squirt because I was little. So they beat me up forever until I fought back. So I earned the name Squirt. I would fight back. Like, you walk in my space, now I beat you up. That's serious. So back then, that's what it was. Like, we called the kids Shorty, now my little shorty. It was Squirt was the name for a little feisty, a little kid.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I've been that since I was that little.
And then you put it to use in your music, MC Squirt. Yeah.
So when I started rapping, I'm like, well, that's my name, MC Squirt. Okay. Right.
Yes. And now DJ Squirt. So she is known by all of these names, but known and loved. She has had some. So if you're not into rap, or if you're not into hip hop, you won't know some of these names, but trust and believe, anybody who is in that genre of music, she has had heavy hitters in her studio. I was there. No, I was watching one night, and you guys had a seminar or something here in the city of Cleveland.
Chris Gotti, that's one of my boyfriends now.
Yeah, Gotti. She had all these major players from across the country, and she's still a squirt. How tall are you? 5'4"? 5'2".
Oh, I'm 5'2".
I was way off. Okay.
Right, but you. I am. I'm sure.
So there were like these 6 huge hulking rap guys. She came in and she was so little in there. She was sitting up on top of the counter. Seen in this room. I was praying for her. I was like, Lord, please don't let that happen. All them big guys. I don't know what
they love me.
And they do. So respected. She is so respected in the game by men and women, people of every walk of life. And her heart, I can remember you always saying, because you would always bring kids in too, because a lot of times people who would do radio, television, or whatever, they don't really want to be bothered with kids, because you got to coach them, you got to talk to them, you got to, you don't talk down. But you have to give them room to breathe, and so that they can grow and get comfortable in this interview. And she always had kids. When I came in one time, and I mean, they were coming in shifts, all these little babies, and she was putting them in the chair. You put them in the chair, and you ask them very serious questions, and
they answer.
Yeah, their answer, and you're training them right then for stardom. You're training them for
these kids are smarter. Look, as I say in my show, I used to say I'm going to do this for kids, but actually it's very educational to some 50-year-olds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell us about your newest project with these young people, your passion and your heart. Talk to us.
Oh, well, actually the organization, it's called, they're called Omega Mentoring and A Second Chance. So it's 2 organizations. These are actually young men, teenage men from detention homes and troubled homes, because I think you have to get down to what happened to them. Not why are you a detention home? Not that you're a delinquent, no, why? If you don't know why, they can't fix it. So I wanted to work with teenagers, and our young Black men definitely need this. We need our young Black men. We don't have our young Black men. We don't have Black families. Not to say it has to be just Black. I mean, I come from a predominantly all white community growing up in the foster home. So I love white people. They're actually doing the to me. But what I'm saying is it's important in our culture to enhance them and keep them out of detention homes. So basically what I do is the psychology that I received growing up in order to be a benefit to my own child. I've taken that technique and I use it with them. Who are you? Where are you from? Where do you want to be? You know, make them understand whatever happened to them, why it happened to them, and also have something enlightening, like I did, education, school, and music, something enlightening and interesting that will make them think twice if they do have to encounter some type of adversity in the city or in the streets.
Life.
Gonna think twice. Like, wait a minute, I got this. I'm gonna meet Chris Gotti next week. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm trying to put something in their spirits that'll help them think differently. That's all.
Yeah. And that is so important because our children need to learn how to dream. Somewhere, you know, we used to talk about daydreaming. We used to get in trouble at school for daydreaming. Kids don't dream anymore. You know, they don't. When I get out of here, when I graduate from school, I'm gonna get a car and I'm gonna get a house and I'm gonna move to California. They don't do that anymore. I heard some young people say, you know, well, if I get to 22, if I make it to 25, they're not even they're just thinking about survival in the streets. You know, and with that lifestyle, that's not even just for our Black people. That's young people. That's this generation. You know, it's just so troubled in so many places. But your passion for these young people, and again, want to encourage you all, and you know, just to keep her in your mind when you're doing gift giving, because this is good, fertile ground to sow into. I wish I was going to have pictures up of her studio and everything because it's absolutely.
Oh, we could do that. We could walk right through. I'm here.
Would you take us on a tour, please?
Oh, yes, darling. Okay, let's make it quick. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. Right now I'm in my office doing my thing. Okay.
And I want you all to know this has grown from a one little bitty room.
Okay. This is the radio station room. Those are my turntables, my new ones. I love my turntables. Look at that. I love them. So
can you go in close on the turntables? Can you go in close on that turn so we can see you? Isn't your picture on one?
Oh yeah, I practice with these. See my little markers? I practice with these, but I'll show you those in 1 second with my cartoon on them. And this here, that's also on my mixer. That's the picture that's on my turntables. Here, let me see if I can grab that so you can take a look at it. But anyway, that's the engineer settings table from which we run the studio when we have our live interviews. This is where they sit when we have the interviews. And also that's the 47-inch television in which I do the video interviews. And then let me see if I can find those really quick. Hold on.
Oh, don't worry about it. I thought it was on there.
These are my personalized vinyls.
Wow.
That I DJ with, that I'm practicing with. So I practice with that. Oh, let me hurry up. Okay. So that's the radio room. And over here is the TV production recording room with the backdrop of Cleveland. Okay. Here. That's the TV room. This is that's my banner. I love my banner. And this is my classroom for the kids.
Wow.
This is the classroom for the kids.
Wow.
We have a projector in which we're going to be projecting everything that we're teaching them. And I also have a music production studio in which this organization is funding all of my studio equipment for the studio for the kids. So this is the studio that they'll be rehearsing in, and it's the booth which they record in. So it's all ready, and this month our classes start and equipment gets installed. I'll be educating some young people as engineers to help teach and also make a few bucks. That's the receptionist area. That's it. It's grown that big so far.
Wow. Okay. That is so awesome. So folks, I mean, I'm sure it's impressive for you to see this just on screen, but to walk in there, and again, for me, I just become
because of that one little room.
I'm emotional about it because it happened so fast, but you know, I know the story of the sacrifices that made
Yes.
to make this happen because of her passion, and what you're going to be putting into these young people in the city of Cleveland, and it's going to go so much farther. I can just see that, Rhonda. I mean, God bless you.
I'm
And what
trying. And
you're doing.
I'm also with a major DJ network, Nerve DJs, baby, straight out of Cleveland, Ohio. What? Y'all better get with them Nerve DJs. Always do that. Y'all better get with them Nerve DJs.
Nerve DJs. Yeah, yeah. So, you know what you're doing in this city is tremendous, y'all. So I think you're the only Black owned
Female.
female
Yes. Yes.
yes
Yes.
CEO
So.
and owner of a radio station in Cleveland, y'all. So I hope y'all giving her a virtual clap. Can y'all give her some? I need y'all to hit that heart up, because what I'm talking about, this ain't no joke. I mean,
Right.
you know, she can't
It's
hear
hard.
clapping, but give her some hearts or something, y'all. You know, just to really, you know, let her know that this is just tremendous, Rhonda, what you're doing.
Thank
And
you. But this is what I imagined. This is what I wanted. You know what I mean? So it's not anything hard to me. And when I found my father, I was 28 when I found my father, and come to find out, I see where all this drive comes from. And when he said, "Wait a minute, let me tell you where you come from," that's why it's important that these kids find someone to love, someone that loves them and can put into them. Because honestly, that's what put the drive on. He said, "Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do you know who you are? You are a Saxton." He did. You a Saxton. You got strong women in your family. He started telling me who was who and from where and how you could do this. Do it. Don't worry about them. So that kind of inspired me to say, okay, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah. That's so important to know our history, to know where we came from. So when you're talking to young people, first of all, saying what happened, you have to know the bridge that you came over so that you can know where you're going to. And that goes back to the village. So when you say for us, so that's not just, you know, the young people are looking for somebody to mentor them, and we should be looking for somebody to mentor. We should be, instead of when we drive down our streets and we see our young people with pants sagging or whatever, instead of just shaking our heads and saying what they do, we should pray for them. If you can get out your car, if they're asking you for $1, say, you know what you want to do in life? You know, speak some life into them. And then them, you know, it would be good for anybody and everybody on here if we had a list of community centers, just a list. So if you said, where do you live? You know what? Do you know there's a community center that offers this there? You should go check it out. That's something very simple that we can do, because it does take the village to raise the children. A lot of our children are without. They are. They're without.
Well, I want to share this. This is another reason why I'm so excited about what I'm doing. I want to share this because when the mentors or the nonprofits came to me to do this, they were saying these some real trouble kids. But see, I was in foster homes that weren't as nice, and they would tell the social workers I was so bad, and I wasn't. So I understand being labeled something that you're not. So they said, we're going to bring this young man. He's 12 years old. We're going to bring you, because they're letting me meet the kids first before I actually start teaching to make sure that we all have a rapport. So this young kid is 12 years old. I'm 5'2". He had to be like almost 6 feet. He had ink pen where he had marked all over his arms like tattoos, and he was just totally everything negative, but really quick. So he's saying, I want to be a rapper. And, you know, he's hanging out. I'm talking to him. But I noticed that the mentors were like tough with him. You know, they're like, yeah, sit down. I said, y'all calm down. You know, chill out. We sit at the table. I said, well, let me hear your rap. Oh my God, every cuss word you could think of came out of his mouth. But you could tell that it wasn't him. He had a baby face. He had a feel of a baby, like he was a child. You could feel it. And you could see it in his face. So I let him finish the rap, and I didn't react. A lot of times kids just want attention, so they'll do anything to get your attention. And I believe that he said those words and he did that. He was not ashamed, because he done heard it since he was little. He's 12 now. That's nothing, right? So I let him finish, and I said, wow. I said, so you want to be the richest person in the world? He said, yes. I said, well, your language is going to limit you, because that's how they talk in those 4 blocks that you live in. But if you go to Paris and you go to France, and you'll lose money because they can't understand you. You have to speak in a manner they can understand you. So go ahead and do the underground. Like, I didn't shut them off. I didn't dog them. Go ahead and do the underground. but that's how much money you're going to make. I showed him on the board. I said, but if you go ahead and get it where French can understand you because they know English and they understand, I said, you can get all their money too. He was like, oh. I said, now sit here for a minute. I put some headphones on him, an instrumental. Who's your favorite? Gave him the instrumental. Write a rap just for me. So the guy's looking at me. We're just chilling. An hour goes by. He go ahead and he says his rap to me. Do you know what he said? He said, all I'm trying to do is survive. I want God to save me, and I want to take care of my family. That's the basis of his rap. It was amazing. Wow. We all almost cried. Like, see what I'm saying? That's all it took. That's all it took is to explain it. See, and I know a lot of things were not explained to me, which is what a lot of things that I do. I'm 47 years old. I'm still doing that stuff. You got to reprogram that. So we can get them young and put that in their brains when they're young. You can help change them in life.
Yeah. Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that because, thank you for sharing that because that skill and what you just shared with us is we can use that in our own households with our children. Sometimes kids have families around them and getting beat up. So this kid, sometimes they're outside of the home in foster home, and sometimes they're right there with the people that should know how to talk to them and should know how to nurture and don't know how to. But it's amazing because you did not beat them up and you let them get that out. So because you respected them. And I think that's the thing too with our young people.
Yep.
We don't respect them. So how can we expect them to know how to respect us?
We're not, you. Yep.
So that was just awesome. And I just can't wait. I pray that you can duplicate yourself.
I wish. I'm working on it. You see my grandbaby. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Your grandbaby, both of them, your grandchildren, but her little granddaughter is her mini me, y'all. She's been on the mic already too. How old is she?
4.
And she's been on the mic and her personality is 24. Very, very much so. But I would encourage you, Rhonda, though, to get into something, getting volunteers that you can train to do that, replicating yourself so that what you're doing can be mentored again. And I hope that there's somebody on here that's looking at this, that if you have resources or if you know someone that can help, and again, I'm asking you to share this broadcast when it's over. If you know of people or resources that can donate computers, that can donate food, lunch.
Yes, we're asking. Yes, this does come out of my own pocket right now, but I do have some organizations that have questioned me on what I needed as far as laptops. But if anyone can donate a laptop, anything that they can learn on, just the basics to be able to get online and to be able to use YouTube, create a website. We don't need anything totally fancy. Chromebooks are dope, like whatever. If anybody can donate, we need 6 to 8. I've gotten 3 already said that they're donating, but I can't count that until it's in my hands. But we need those to help teach them, to have them something to learn upon. I've already purchased like a projector so that I can project from my laptop where they can see it and we all work at the same time. You know what I mean? So we're on Patreon. I don't know if anybody knows what Patreon is. It's patreon.com. It's a subscription site, kind of like a Facebook, but it's for subscriptions where you can donate $1 a month. $1 a month to come to us to help support what we're doing. When they come here, sometimes they're hungry, they thirsty. Food, I keep waters, food, I feed them. They've been here to visit and I feed them popcorn, little things like that, because those things make the difference. You can't teach nobody nothing if they're hungry. A lot of these kids are coming straight out of detention homes. They know they can come here and get something to eat. They're going to be more pleasant and susceptible to what's going on. Basically, that's it. We're at patreon.com, Urban City Radio Station. You can subscribe to submit $1 a month. That'll help. $50, 50 people give us $1. That's $50 a month. We got waters, we got snacks, whatever for them to have when they're here.
So. And is there anything else that you need? Do you need headphones? I want you just to say the things that you can think off of your head, because I know that there are people on here that work in banks and work for things like that. So I'm asking everybody to please think about your resources. So if you know of an organization that even if they can donate to like a micro center, you know, or
exactly
or Apple, where she can go in, where she can have an account and go in and get the things that she needs for that. And trust me, there are ways that can be tracked, so you don't have to worry about that. And believe me, I would not be soliciting if I did not believe in this work. So
this is my own money I use right now. I pay for all this out of my own, whatever I can get my hands on, my own money. And I do these interviews. They're $50 per interview. When I interview people, the DJ Squirt interview, Squirt Takeover Show, and that $50 goes towards the rent here, towards the supplies here, towards the subscription a month for the radio station. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm paying for outside of my own money. So we'll need pens, paper, notebooks, anything for school that anybody could donate. We'll appreciate it, you know.
Please. So she's on Facebook. You guys are on Facebook, so you can hit her up on Facebook. You can message her. She can tell you exactly what she needs, but you heard she needs the basics of everything. So again, go to Office Max. Just buy them out when the paper is on sale.
Anything.
You have a printer there? Are you printing up?
I do have a printer. Okay. Ink and paper. Yes.
Yeah, she needs ink, paper, again. And then she said these kids are 6 feet tall. You all remember, you know, girl or boy at 16, now you 8, okay? So if you want to donate a platter, if you want to, and I know that the minimum is $1, but we're asking you, please, 10, 15, 25 up, whatever you can do, even if you have to do it 1 month and then you got to skip a month and do something else, just whenever. And so if you want to do something, a lot of times we get benevolent just at Christmas time and we get benevolent just at Thanksgiving, but there's a need all year long, and she's going to be teaching these kids this, and then she needs to be able to keep the lights on. She's got to be, and she is doing this all her own. So we don't even have to really specify what a sacrifice that has got to be. Okay,
my daughter be mad at me. She the only child. She rotten, so she like, what about me? Like, calm down, baby.
her daughters are twins. She understands her mom's mission, really
she
does. So, but so I'm just asking you all to please, again, Patreon, and I'm going to put it in the comments when this is over as well, so that you all can go there and you're going to look up. Is it the UCRS or Urban City?
It's UCRS Global Studios on Facebook.
Okay.
UCRS Global Studios on Facebook.
Okay. All right. And I'll put it in there for you guys to take a look. So you can donate tonight. You can donate when it's payday. You can donate whenever, anytime. And the money will come 24 hours a day. It's not 9 to 5 like the banks. You can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, it's really to help. It's really to help this cause, because some of these kids are really, really good. They're really, really good, but they need that support, Like, even at 16, I made it to a major record label in LA. And the bottom line is, it didn't matter how good I was. If I did not sell out, if you know what I mean, they wanted me to put out, and I didn't sell out, and they sent me home. So I want to make sure these kids can do it themselves. They don't have to depend on nobody. They don't have to sell themselves. They don't have to lie, cheat, and steal. They can do it themselves.
Wow. Please share this video. If you got young people that want to do something and they don't know, share this video with them. Share it with your grandmother, share it with your sister, your aunt, just to know that when you are trying to do something and God has designed and created you for that purpose, it's going to come. It doesn't mean it's without sacrifice, but it's going to come, and it will monetize and it will metabolize into the universe and the atmosphere, and God will just bless you. So we love you. I love you, Rhonda.
Thank you. I love you so much.
So grateful for what you're doing, and I am so honored because she is the queen of interviews, y'all. You see, she got a big television. I'm looking at her on my phone. Television when she's interviewing people, and they're all across the world and all across the globe. So I'm honored that you would allow me to interview you.
I was so honored. I'm like, oh my God. Now I see how I feel when people ask to interview. I'm all excited.
If anybody has any questions, put them in there real quick. If you've got any questions, we want to thank everybody who's come on tonight. Again, we're going to put the information about Patreon in there. Tune in. Make sure you follow her page. She is I Am
DJ Squirt.
I am on all of social media, everywhere. I am DJ Squirt. That's all you have to remember. If you Google her, she's going to come up. So you can go ahead and follow her. And when you hit the follow button for her and you hit the follow button from me, whenever something comes up, whenever we go live, you'll get it. You'll be able to see, it'll be right there for you. So you don't want to miss what's going to be going on with her. You want to be able to see what's happening with these young people. You want to see the people that she's meeting across the globe. You want to turn your young people on to her, especially if you got daughters, so they can see this Black queen doing this thing on her own by herself, but having faith and trusting God enough to bring her everything that she needs, because she knows that she's operating in her divine purpose. So that's all
I have major
tonight.
support.
Any final words?
James Johnson, shout out to James Johnson right here. He's actually in Alabama or Atlanta, out that way. He's #1. He helps me out a lot.
And he's sharing.
Yes, and he's sharing it too. Hey, James. Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It feels great. Thank you. And I hope that everybody does follow me on all social medias. I am DJ Squirt. Check out the radio station, urbancityradiostation.com. We're always streaming live. Shout out I Nerve DJ. Nerve DJs is one of the largest coalitions in the world, DJ coalitions. And it's been my major support, my big brother, DJ Johnny O. Thank you. And all those people in the background that don't need to be seen and shine and stand in front of me, that love me and say, I love you. I love you too. I love you. And Michelle, you know I love you. I love you to pieces.
All right.
Thank you.
And I just want you all to know that this is a Chronicles segment, and it was brought to you by Influence Media Entertainment Group, where marketing makes a difference. You can reach us at yourinfluence1@gmail.com, and also at telephone number 440-549-0620. We would love to make your event phenomenal. And thank you again. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Like, share, and follow, and we'll see you again. Good night.
Good night.